Hello and welcome. A couple of weeks ago, I posted a video explaining how when my 2017 Chevy Cruze's motor went belly up on me, I was left without motorized transport. Well, out here in the country, you kind of need to have a vehicle. Luckily for me, I had a plan B, my Trek Domane. I admit that I have often spoken of how bicycles can be more than just a toy or a diversion, but can be basic transportation. And then suddenly I found myself in that very position. That, my friends, was a bit of an eye-opener. I don't take it for granted now. Luckily, I do now have transport. Behold, the return of the prodigal truck. And I say that because this 2009 Ford Ranger, well, I bought that new back in the day. When I bought the Chevy, I sold it to a friend, and she sold it back to me when she learned about my situation. It's really nice the way things work out, especially when you have good friends. But this is not a video about the car or the truck. It's about what I did in the interim. I did go out, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 miles out back to a general store and bought some groceries on a Thursday. And then the following Sunday, I kind of wanted to go to church. All well and good, except church is 7.5 miles away from me. And there are 3 really difficult hills involved on that ride. One of which my church is perched upon the summit of. And that road, I don't think it's even 1/4 mile long, but my goodness, it's at least a 20% grade. And I made it halfway up that before I packed it in, unclipped, and walked the rest of the way up the hill. Be that as it may, I was fortunate that I had both the bicycle and the ability, and it was a nice day, so I didn't actually mind going for a ride. So I set out giving myself plenty of time because I knew that I was going to be slow going up some of those hills. And it's not a big deal. Again, it's a beautiful morning. Why not go for a ride? I got, 4 or 5 miles down the road, and I'm thinking, gee, the bike is acting kind of squirrely. A little squishy, kind of wiggly. I happened to look down. Lo and behold, there's low air pressure in the front tire. Now I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I hope I didn't get a puncture, because that just would have ruined my schedule. I kept an eye on it, and I kept going, and it didn't get any worse. It didn't get any better, but it didn't get any worse. So I figured, well, it's okay for now. I'll tough it out, because it wasn't super low, just low enough that I could see it and feel it. So when I got to church, I figured, well, I've got a few extra minutes here. I might just as well air up that tire and be done with it. That's when I found out I didn't really plan my outing as well as I thought I had done. I pulled off my Silca roll, which I use instead of a saddlebag. I had a spare tube. I had a tire lever, quick links, and a chain tool. I also have a pump that I attached to a clip on the frame, so I'm, good to go here. However, what I did not have was a Presta to Schrader adapter so I could use the pump on these tubes. Oh my gosh, I was more than a little bit annoyed at myself for omitting that very basic piece of equipment. I mean, this tiny little thing was basically all that stood between me and a potential puncture on the way home. And wouldn't that have been fun? Not to mention I'd feel a little bit silly walking all the way home with the bicycle. So I have now, after the fact, added the adapter to my Silca roll. And I guess I was darned lucky that I didn't get like a snake bite puncture on the tube or something like that. And I was purposely avoiding potholes and such after I noticed that the tire was a little spongy. But even so, that could have just been pretty much a disaster. And after all is said and done, I did make it home. And it was still a nice ride, just that I was kind of keeping an eye on that front tire. And luckily, the way the route is configured, there was less climbing and more coasting because I'd already climbed the hills on the way in. That helped, I'm sure. And I was very, very happy to see my house and my driveway again. Now, I guess really my big takeaway is being prepared also means being thorough, and I was not thorough. And had something gone wrong, well, it would have been my own darn fault, wouldn't it? I suppose all's well that ends well, as the old saying goes. If you enjoyed this video, I have a link to a playlist for the Domane below left, and there's a link to another video below right, which I think you will enjoy. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I genuinely appreciate that. Goodbye, and have a great day.